Hello again. Um, I'm doing this one a little earlier than I usually do. I haven't even done the vacuuming yet today. Um, but just kind of felt like doing it first thing. So, let's tackle this week. In terms of goals, overall, again, just really fine. I haven't faltered at all. This is before I typically brush my teeth, so I don't know, there's chances in the day for me to fail, but I'm not gonna. Unless I fall asleep before 10, but like my alarm for brushing my teeth is meant to be like intentionally obnoxious for if I do fall asleep. So, plus, I also know that I get woken up by my first brushing my teeth alarm, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Kind of already have proof that that's gonna happen. Vacuuming has been pretty consistent. Again, I'm doing it before this one, but I know I'm going to do it like just a little later. I'm waiting for my dog to finish eating, and then I'm gonna be doing that. I think just after I brush my teeth. So he's done eating. Um, the other one would be porn. I think I mentioned it last week that it gets a little bit. It's a tad difficult to do the 3 day portion in a row because like I mean it's still new. And I mean, it kind of is, but I think I'm starting to get used to it. My mind is kind of my mind. I think my mind is kind of caught on to what I've been doing, and it's sort of adapting properly with it. Because honestly, each time I do go to a new phase, I'm seemingly getting better and better at just adapting. Because I'm already pretty okay. Yes, there are still urges, but like I could say that about literally every other week in phase. The only reason it's nearly as bad here is because there's no buffer in between. I mean, the only buffer would technically be like Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday, but well, there's no buffer for when Thursday happens, so I'm just kind of stuck with it, and I have to sit it out until Friday ends, which is getting a lot easier. I don't know what I've done, but it has gotten a lot easier to, at least on the days that I that I've chosen to abstain. It's gotten an awful lot easier to just outright ignore my urges. I haven't really looked into it on the days that I'm allowed to, although no, actually, on Tuesday of this week, I realized that while my body wanted to watch more, I just wasn't feeling it, so I just didn't. Which it has been a bit of a trend for a while now of maybe I'll do it once a day or maybe I won't do it at all just because I'm not feeling it. I think I think my body's actually starting to realize and or at least my brain, and I'm talking purely chemical too. I think my brain's starting to realize that I don't really want to do it most of the time. There are still plenty of days where I end up hitting the maximum limit, but like the mo for this week in particular, Saturday was pretty normal, as I would say. I hit the limit. I like utilizing what I have to the fullest, so that makes sense a lot. And then for the day after on Sunday, I did it once and I never felt the urge to do it again. Then Monday hit. I abstained because that's how it is. And then Tuesday hit and I only did it once again. despite knowing full well that I have a 3 day gauntlet. I just have 3 days of not doing it ahead of me. So I think I'm just getting used to not really needing it nor doing it. It's become a lot less of a habit. Of course, I do know that this is also the biggest reason why it got so bad is because it became such a habit, and I gotta confidently destroy that habit. I can't just, I can't just let this little bit of progress sort of, I guess, dissuade me from completing my current thing. And even then, once I do finish up the phases, I'm at phase 7 and I'm at the third month, it's already over. I'm probably going to wait like 2 years before I let myself even, like, even masturbate recreationally. It's probably just not going to happen. Or I'm not going to let it happen. Because I think 2 years is a pretty decent enough. Well, 2 years, especially after these phases, is a pretty decent enough chunk of time to sort of destroy any real habits. Once I'm like completely sober, 2 years is probably a good enough buffer. And if it isn't, well, I've got this. And I've got this little program I'm on. And I might actually be able to take less time with it because I actually know what I'm doing this time. I understand it. I can take more steps, maybe even modify it more. So it won't be nearly as big of an issue if I do end up falling back into that pit because, well, I know how to climb out of the pit. So, yeah, overall, it's been going really well. And it seems like just overall as well, subconsciously, I am actually adapting to the plans that I'm putting out there, which is really encouraging. It shows that my hard work is actually worthwhile, and I'm capable of uh, I'm capable of putting out something that's like actually helping me. It's not just banal and useless. This one in particular, I've also been thinking about a lot of more finite goals because of a comment that I ended up missing on, I think, a video from 2 weeks ago. Um, the comment was talking about finite to bigger, more finite goals to these smaller, more infinite goals that I have going. And I'd like to think that the ones I currently have are very finite. The vacuuming on Monday and Friday is ending this month. I'm hoping by the time the end of this month comes, I can just do it like regularly. I don't need to be reminded of it in my journal. And then the porn one, it ends at the end of the program, and then technically there's a bit of an epilogue with the whole 2 year thing, but it's pretty much over by the time that happens, which um, should be in April 2026. Should be. I may be a little off with the math there. I could probably fact check that a little more, but um, the brushing teeth thing that goes until I'm brushing my teeth every single day of the week. There is a pretty fine date to that. Again, there is the whole keeping it consistent and just going with it, but um, the moment I have it on all 7 days as more consistently, hence why I'm also developing it alongside the plan I have here, then that's kind of the that's kind of like the end of it, and I'll probably by that time for sure I'll probably have built that habit pretty well, and that's kind of the only ones for those. But admittedly, uh, that has given me some thought which I will get to a little later. I actually finished one of my minor goals. I finished Armored Core 6. That was a really good game. I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't expect the story to go that hard. It is very much a recommended game if you have the ability to play it. It's very fun. It's got a nice story. It's very worth it. But aside from that, let's get on to next month, which is very weird because I'm halfway through the month here. But due to that comment about long and shorter term, I decided to actually change it the way I classify, and I already made the section for June because while I already know some of the stuff that I'm gonna end up doing, but I wanted to put in a more major goals. I put them down as life goals, even though they're not really my life goals. It's just meant to illustrate how big they are. And I guess in a certain way, they could certainly be considered life goals, a little more long term, and they don't necessarily have to be fulfilled just yet. They're just there to sort of not just remind me, but keep my eye on the prize. They made a good point about how, one, these smaller goals that don't really have an end kind of deprives you of a finish. I do know that. I was I made that connection through an entirely separate thing. It had to do with video games, so I was able to pretty much connect the dots just already. Um, and for the goals particularly, they are not super huge because I could do both of them really quickly. Get into the local community college. That should be pretty easy because, well, um, one, the community college is like just a bus ride over there, and then I just have to actually go through the process of getting in. There are other insecurities I have with that, but that's something to share next month when I'm actually doing it. And then the last one is getting a driver's license. Not necessarily because I really want one, because I don't. I don't really want to drive a vehicle, but it'll be helpful to have one because even though I don't want to, I still probably should, at the very least, be capable of driving a vehicle. Um, and as well as that, I decided to make a clarification alongside my pornography and teeth brushing goals. For it's so much more compact than I'm typically used to. For an example, I kind of space them out like this. Not really the dates, but my goals are spaced out kind of like this. Whereas with the newer major goals, I space them out with almost no spacing because the space below them is utilized to clarify an end date or something special about it. So it kind of looks like there's nothing there, even though this line right here has an arrow, which again on the computer is pretty tough to see unless I move it closer. And my arrows are pretty shit anyway, so it might be a bit difficult to tell what they are. An arrow that clarifies when it'll end and whether or not it'll escalate. And I put escalates because I do know I do know when it's going to go up, and there's just not really enough room on the line to fully clarify. So yeah, just trying to make some changes that'll help me as well as clarify a few things in my own mind. Because when you've been using this long enough, you come to realize that the journal is kind of warping the way you think. Not necessarily, well, I mean, it's only in a bad way if you're making a bad journal. And with improving my journal, I'm just improving the way I think, the way I understand the world. It's just getting better and better all the time. So that's like not really a negative. That's just a fun little notice. And also, a pretty interesting thing. Today is the today would actually be the second day, or no, second day. Ugh, I'm not formatting the words properly in my head. I'm not thinking before I speak. Today would actually be the day before a 1 year anniversary of starting the journal, because I originally started it on May 17th, and, well, today is May 16th. So, happy fucking anniversary to my journal. That's awesome. It's been a whole year. That's really cool. Straight up, wow, that's like actually really sick. And it's a pretty thick portion of the journal, even though it's a pretty big journal. It is a pretty thick portion, and all the things that came before it were like really small in comparison. I just didn't use it very much. But this one, it's really nice to see it all come together too. It's it's really cool. It's also really cool to sort of compare and contrast what my previous journal entries had, and it just makes me think, wow, I sure did come pretty fucking far, cause my goodness, yeah, my goodness, it was pretty bulky too. I actually I try to keep my I try to keep my margins where I mark stuff down pretty small, but at the time I was tracking the amount of time I spend on my phone, and I was trying to cut down on it. But they were still really big. There was even like blank spots within the actual checkmark boxes. There were blank spots within the time boxes. Like it was huge, and it led to me not being able to fit everything within the boxes. And this was well before I was just talking about how I felt for the day instead of, so I was like talking about specific major events that happened in the day, and they could get pretty long. And there's just so much. And then I guess we have to wait until August of 2024 for it to be a full year of me starting my pornography program, because that's exactly what happened. It would have, once it hits August, which we've got like 3 months after this one, it's going to be a full year since I've started my program. And I'll probably be, well, May, June, July. In August, I'll be at phase 5 of it, and we'll only have 2 days left. So we'll be we'll be pretty close to done. That's pretty cool. It's been a When you put it into perspective of a journal, it's been a really long time, and it's got a nice collection of just things. So it's pretty cool. Um, yeah, I don't really have anything else to talk about. All of those other frustrations can come about when I'm actually next month, when I'm actually looking at going into college, and God knows what'll happen by then. The US is fucking horrible right now. It is legitimately dangerous. I would not recommend coming here. That was my toothbrushing alarm. I would not recommend coming here. I kind of want to leave because there are quite a few things that, in my opinion, I'd prefer to get elsewhere. But I'm not going to be convincing anyone to leave with me just yet. So, anywho, I'll see myself next time.